Hi, Aunt Summer here. So, I heard you have watercolors now. So this is exciting. We're going to learn how to paint a watercolor planet. Check this out. All right, so now before we begin, you're going to need some materials, okay? So you're going to need your watercolor brushes, color pencils, your watercolors, watercolor paper, a rag or paper towels, okay? Now there are a few things you are gonna have to ask your mom to go get you, okay? Painter's tape, ooh, blow dryer, and a pair of scissors. So pause this video, gather up your stuff, and then come on back. And we're gonna learn how to paint watercolor planets. Okay, hurry up. Hooray, we have all of our materials to start. Exciting. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to get ourselves a piece of paper. Okay, so we need to get ourselves some watercolor paper. This is the watercolor paper I like to use for just kind of like practice and everyday things. Okay, so you want to take a sheet of watercolor paper, rip it out, okay, and now you want to cut it in half. I set it off to the side. So you want to cut this in half and get a half sheet of paper like this. Cool. All right, so now that we have a half sheet of paper, we're gonna take this painting we're using as a reference and set it over here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put this on our table. And what I mean by put this on our table is we're gonna tape it to the table. All right, so tape is going to be handy dandy for a couple of things. It's going to hold our paper down, and it's also going to help us with the shape of our planet. Okay, so let's take a little piece of tape here. I'm going to tape down the sides, so about the size of the side. Now, a thing with tape is sometimes it sticks to the paper and it rips the paper. So what I like to do is, here, let me zoom out a second. I like to stick it on myself like this, rub it on my clothes. You can see like that. Stuck it on my apron, rubbed it on, and rip it off. And you get little fuzzies on there, okay? And that helps it to seal, but not like rip my paper. Now, you see how I put that on there. I rubbed it in really nice, but do you see I didn't cover that much of the paper? Okay, do you see how much of that paper I covered? Let me see if I can zoom in on that for you a little bit. There. See, I just have a little bit of a seal here. Just enough to hold that paper down, okay? I made a little seal here. Now I'm gonna do the same thing with the other side, okay? Now I'm going to rip off another piece of tape. Stick it to myself, pop it off, and now I'm going to put it over here on the other side. Same thing, just cover up a little bit of the paper over here, okay? All right, so we're just going to cover up a little piece of paper. Excellent. Now, the tape also, I'm about to make a loud noise. Hang on. Okay, cool. Okay. My stuff that I had set over there was about to fall. So the tape comes in handy because it also serves as a reference for our planet. Now the cool thing with the tape is you could either draw on the outside or the inside. Just all depends on how big you want your planet. Do you want your planet in the corner? Do you want it in the center? Do you want it on the side? For today's practice, we're gonna go ahead and put it in the center, okay? So that's where our color pencils come in handy. Now, these are special color pencils. These are actual watercolor pencils. That means they're activated with water. But you don't have to have these. You can have regular watercolor pencils. It's fine. So now let's go ahead and draw around. I'm going to go on the outside. I want a big planet. So I'm going to draw around the outside. Now, if you need to at this moment in time, go ahead, pause the video. Take your time, figure out where you want your planet, and then after you get your planet drawn, turn the video back on and we'll continue. All right, if you paused, welcome back. So, boop, I'm gonna take my tape off, and now you see I have a nice nice, neat circle on my paper. So what I'm gonna do is the size brushes that you're gonna have for watercolor, they're called mop brushes. So they look like this, right? They look like, ooh, focus. They call mop brushes because they look like mops. See, they fuzzy, they big. But mine I got wet, so they're not so moppy anymore. They're kind of like pointy. So I have a large mop brush, a medium pointy mop brush, a small, and then I have a flat brush. It's about a medium-sized flat brush. And these are the 4 brushes we're going to use today. Okay, so I'm gonna start out with my large one. So let's go ahead and zoom out to kind of look at my workspace here. See what I got going on. Okay, so we're back out to my workspace. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over here, and these 2, I have 2, I'm having a brain fart. Excuse me a moment. Okay, I'm good. All right, so we have these 2 waters here. So pick one that's gonna be your clean, clear water. I'm gonna pick this guy to be my clean, clear water. And this guy over here is gonna be my dirty water. But right now, they're both clean and clear, so we're good. So I'm gonna take my brush, I'm gonna dip it into some water. Now, I'm going to just gently squeeze some of the water out on the side, like this. Do you see what I'm doing there? Here, let me kind of give you a better look. So I'm dipping it in. Okay, I'm getting it wet, but look at how wet that is. It is making drips. We don't want that. So I'm just gonna gently squeeze the water out of it a little bit. So it's still wet. You see it's all shiny and wet, but no more drips. Okay, so now we're gonna come over here and we're going to make an invisible painting. What? Yes, that's right, I said invisible painting. So you see this circle we made? We're going to paint water just in this circle. So paint it, paint it, paint it. Just kind of paint inside that circle. But you're like, wait, Aunt Summer, it's an invisible painting. How do I know if I fill the whole circle? Great question. So let me go ahead and zoom out a little bit to show you how I do it. Now what I do is I like to get eye level with my art piece, and I can see where it's shiny and where it's not. Where it's shiny is where my invisible painting is. Where it's not is the dry parts. So let's just go ahead and do our invisible painting in our circle. We don't have to stay that way the entire time. That's just a nice thing for you to do to check. Now, you see what I'm doing here? I ran out of water. My brush is a little dry, so I'm doing the same thing, just a little dip of water, no drippies, right? No drippies. And then we go back in here and we paint. All right, and then we paint in here. And while we're painting, let's talk about space. Do you know that a year and a day on the moon is the same thing? Yes, it is, because it completely revolves and orbits the Earth all in one day. Isn't that cool? So, how old do you think you would be on the moon? Like for every one day, you'd be 1 year old. So I would be 100 and gajillion million trillion years old. Just kidding. But I'd be super old. All right. So now that we got this all painted in, if you need extra time, go ahead, pause the video at any time, take your time, and then come back, okay? You're not gonna miss out on anything, I promise. So we paint all the way up to that circle that we made. And now, okay, our planet's done. Our invisible planet is now complete. Congratulations. Just kidding, let's move on. Okay, so now here comes the fun part. This is where we get to be really creative. So I picked a palette that I have that's very similar to your palette, okay? And then that way when I pick colors and I point at things, it's very similar to where yours are, okay? So, what color planet shall we have? My sample planet here, I used purples and like a rust red color, and it's kind of like Halloween, right? Because that's like my favorite. But let's do something a little bit different, okay? So for this planet, you could do your favorite color and then your mom's favorite color, or you could do, I don't know, whatever. My favorite color is red. Uncle Dennis's favorite color is blue. Reagan's favorite color is, I don't know, her favorite color changes every day. So I think I want to have something like the planet Mars, and the planet Mars is oranges and reds. So I'm going to use this section here at first that are full of rusty, orangey, red colors. Okay. Or you could do something like Venus. Venus is blue, so you could do these blue colors. You could do something like Earth where it's blue and greens, or you could just make up your whole entire own planet like I did here. I made up my own planet here. I don't know what I'd call it, but I'd call it Planet Awesome, I guess. Okay. So let's go ahead and pick some colors. Like I said, I think I want mine to kind of look like, have like a Mars feel to it. So I'm going to go with these colors here. So we always start light to dark, okay? Because everything about watercolors is layers. We're going to build and build and build and build. So out of this palette range that I picked, and so whatever palette range you pick, find the lightest color. So right here, there's this peachy, taupey color. I call it skin because it looks really close to my skin color. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. So let me zoom in a little bit and show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so hang on. I can zoom in even more. All right, camera adjustments. Give me a second here. All right, cool. There we are. All right, so I'm gonna take this color, and now what I'm gonna do on my palette is I'm gonna dip in some water, and remember how we were saying drippy? Well, this time we want it drippy because we wanna put it on there, and we wanna rub it in. So do you see what I'm doing right there? And it picks up that color right on my brush. And that's what I want. It's kind of like, it's like soupy mud. Best way to describe it. Now go ahead and pick a spot anywhere on here that you want to, pick a spot on here where you want to start. So I'm going to start over here, and I'm just going to kind of color it in, just like I'm coloring a coloring book page. Color it in, just like this. Do-do-do-do. And then just be nice and gentle with it. Now I'm just going to color until I have no more color left on my brush. Okay? So it doesn't take long. Just make sure you stay in the lines. Now if you go outside the lines, that's okay. Not a big deal, because we are going to do a background that's going to be dark colors, and we'll just cover it all up. No big whoops. So don't be upset if there's mistakes or whatever. Because as Bob Ross says, there's no mistakes, only happy accidents. Okay, so you see now I have this peach thing happening, super light. I'm gonna go back into my water. So here we go. Back into my water, drip, and then, actually I wanted a little drippy, okay? I'm gonna go back into my water, make it a little drippy, and now I'm gonna pick the next color. And so on my palette, I think I'm going to go with this color here. So once again, I'm going to mix it until I get a soupy mud. Now, I'm going to pick this bottom over here. And this is where this color is going to live. This is its new home. Over here. Now, like I said, if at any time you need to pause, please do so. Take your time, because that's very important. You see how I got a little drip over here? Whoop, just wipe it off with my finger. All right, so this color, I'm just gonna kind of take it around this edge, and I'm just gonna kind of let it live over here. Just kind of fill it in and move it around. Move it around. Do you know the smallest planet in our solar system is Mercury? Yes, ma'am, sure is. And Mercury is also the closest to the sun. All right, so I kind of just like covered it all up, but I'm gonna continuously keep pulling like that paint color. You see how I'm doing that? Gentle, gentle, okay? And then just kind of like I said, that color, the most of it's gonna live over here. I'm gonna dip back into that color because the color block has absorbed most of that water, so that color's a little bit more thicker and concentrated. So I'm just gonna dip into there, just a couple dap, dap, dap. And like literally I just did this, like dap, dap, dap. And I'm just going to color this in, just like this. All right. Now, so I use the tip of my brush. Now I'm gonna use the side of my brush. So, gonna take it and I'm gonna side swipe it like that. I'm going to use the flat fat part. See, I make songs when I do this. All right, now that I'm done, I'm gonna just do polka dots everywhere. Just make polka dots. And then you could use the side of the brush to make polka dots. You could use the tip of the brush to make polka dots. Whatever you want. It's literally your world. You do whatever you want. All right, so now it has polka dots. Alrighty. I love making little dots. Dot, 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 dot. Now just little air blows. Okay. So I'm going to rinse my brush out, and then now I have dirty water. So let me go ahead and zoom out, show you my workspace one more time. And I'm going to rinse this out, and now I have dirty water. Let me roll this over here so you can see a little bit better. All right, now I have dirty water. Now, the cool thing to give your planet like this really neat look, like we had, you know, like we have with this one here, is to do what's called a contrasting color. A contrasting color is going to be a color that is like on the opposite side of the color spectrum, right? So this is kind of like an orange color. So the opposite of orange would be purple. Or you could do a complementary color, like a color that looks really good with orange is like red or green, something like that. So I'm going to do I prefer contrasting colors. So I like color combinations like this, right? I like it to where they kind of they kind of clash a little bit, but I like it. So, but this time, I don't know. What color should I pick this time? This is very hard to choose on your planets. Let's see. Let's go with a blue color. So, because that's Uncle Dennis's favorite. So I'm going to go with like this medium blue color right here, and I'm going to make it muddy. See how I'm making it muddy? Okay. I'm making it muddy, and I'm going to say blue lives here now. So that's pretty much how you do it. You just kind of pick where the color lives now. I got a little drippy, so I'll wipe those off with my finger. And so that color kind of lives here now. And then you just kind of move it around just like you did before. This time though, with this color, just kind of, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see better. So instead of like smearing it all over the place, I'm going to try to keep it in one spot. So I'm going to use the side of my brush and just kind of lightly like work it in and kind of like leave these little spots here where you can see the other color through it. All right, maybe some polka dots. Like come up into the other polka dots. Like that. See? Wipe off my little drippies as I go. And see how the colors kind of mix on the page and they kind of flow together. They look kind of funky. I like it. And they kind of make their own color, which is cool because now they're going to complement each other. Okay, so now that I have this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rinse off my brush. This is where our clean water comes in, okay? So I'm done with this brush now. So I'm just going to, rinse it out, okay? I'm gonna wipe it off, and then I'm gonna set it on a paper towel or a rag. I have a rag, but if you have paper towels, that's fine too. Just set it off to the side so it's gonna dry off, okay? Now, I'm going to take my little guy brush. I'm gonna dip it into my clean water. And then I'm gonna wiggle it back and forth to make it sound like a bell. At least mine does anyway. So dip, ring, and now I'm just going to put the clear paint in random spots. All over. It's gonna do its own thing. So dip, ring the bell, and then just kind of blop it everywhere. Okay, now this is where the blow dryer comes in. So it's gonna get loud, all right? So we're gonna take our blow dryer, let me zoom out here. And we're gonna take our blow dryer, okay, and we're gonna hold it up. So you see, like there's a lot of space between my painting and my blow dryer. Set your blow dryer on the lowest setting, all right? And we're gonna do circles. We're gonna circle around our painting, okay? So this time we're gonna do 15 circles. So let's count 15. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, stop. All right, cool. So we're seeing our planet now is making like different colors, which is really neat, okay? So we're gonna do our medium brush. Dip the medium brush right into the dirty, ugly water, that's fine. Remember, wipe the sides off. We're gonna pick a slightly darker color, so we're gonna go back to our tans. Okay, so we're gonna go back to these red and tans. So I'm going to take some water, okay? I'm gonna pick a slightly darker color. So I'm gonna pick like this orangey color. Now, say if the orange is not kind of what you wanna mix like these two together. You see these little trays here? Whoops. See? No mistakes, happy accidents. All right, so you just you rub it in here, and then you can rub it into this little tray. And like you say you want this one, you can take this and rub it in this little tray and you make your own colors. So we'll learn how to do that later though. So I'm just gonna go with this orange here. So I'm just gonna take this orange and I'm gonna put it over here. I'm just gonna make a line. That's it. I'm done, just kidding. All right, so now that I made that line, I'm gonna go over here, rinse off in my dirty water. Okay, now I'm gonna do kind of like a circle, dry it off, make sure all the excess paint. Now I'm gonna go in my clean water, dip it, ring the bell, and now I'm going to just with that water, go over the orange and go over the edges. Just like this, this is it. So rinse, clear, ring the bell, and then all I'm doing very lightly using the side, see how I'm using the side of my brush? Here, let me zoom in so you can see, kiddo. See how I'm using the side of my brush? Just do this, because we're just gonna carry that orange right around. That's all we're doing. And then just kind of maybe do some zigzags, do some polka dots, whatever you want. All right, clear water, ring the bell, and just beep, beep, beep. All right, cool. So now that part is orangey. So I'm going to take my brush, and it still has clean water on it. I'm going to go ahead and select another color. So this time, since we are working with blues, I'm gonna select like this darker blue up here, okay? See that dark blue? All right, so that's the color I'm gonna select. I'm gonna come over here, still with my medium brush. I'm gonna do the very similar thing over here. I'm gonna pick kind of where it's gonna live. It's gonna live over here a little bit. All right. All right. Okay, so now that I kind of like set it where it's gonna live, rinse my brush, clean water, ring the bell, and kind of just do the same that I did on the other side. Just very gently. I'm gonna bop this one, as in I'm gonna bop the color. So I'm gonna take my brush and it's kind of be flat and fat on the side, and I'm just gonna kind of like pull it out and bebop those colors. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, now take a little bit of just clean water and just kind of go over where I bopped with the tip. You see how I'm just doing the tip and just going straight up and down? Just bop it straight up and down all over your planet. All over your planet, making little craters, carrying colors from one place to another. Okay, excellent. We are now going to blow dry again. 15 blow dry circles. Okay, so here we go. Make sure you have a nice space between you and your painting. Now, if you need more time, pause the video, finish up what you're doing, and then you can start it and follow me and do 15 more blow dries. So here we go. 15 circles. 1, 2, 3, Okay, so this is looking really cool. Check that out. I'm going to try to see if you can, there we go. I'm really digging what we got going on here. I hope you like what we got going on here too. I'm excited to see what you come up with, and I want you to take a picture and send it to me, okay? Because I'm super stoked. Now, in here looks a little plain, right? We know with like planets and things, asteroids slam into them, meteors slam into them, and it has like craters and pocking and things like that. So we're gonna go ahead and get that small brush that we were using. We're just gonna dip it in water, doesn't matter what water. Now we're gonna go over here and we're gonna pick a color, all right? So I'm gonna go back to this medium blue color that we were using before, and I'm gonna put a little bit more water. I wanna make it watery and slushy again. Remember, watery mud. And I'm gonna come over here, just kinda do a couple dots, darker spaces where something may have hit our planet. Okay, now after I've done that, I'm gonna go ahead, rinse it off in the dirty water, put it in the clean water, ring the bell. Actually, ring the bell. I want it wet, all right, but I don't want it drippy. Now I want to go back and I'm just going to touch these. Just touch them. And just see how I'm doing straight up and down like this. This, and just bop. Bop, 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 bop. And then just bop it all the way out. Leave it as dark or as light as you want. Sometimes I like to connect the dots. I don't know if you've seen Pee Wee Herman. Connect the dots. La 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 la. If you're not, I'm sure your mom can explain it to you. Or if not, whatever. Just a dumb song. Okay, so now we're just gonna take our small brush, clean water, and do the we're gonna do the fat side again, and we're just gonna gently brush over the edges to make the edges all smooth. So now we're going to do the same thing with the orange, or a rusty color. I'm going to use this color here. I haven't used it yet. So since I haven't used it yet, it's like a orangey green, or I mean orangey yellow color. So I'm going to do that here. Just kind of put it, just blop it wherever I want. Blop, blop, blop. Blop, blop, blop. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing. Rinse off my brush in the dirty water, dip it in the clean water. Remember, not too drippy. And then I'm going to go over the edges again, just like I did with the blue. If you need time, please pause, take your time, go over it. No rush here. This is not a competition. We are just chilling, making planets. And then just, you know, I don't know. I like to use my brush, maybe the side of my brush, the tip of my brush, maybe take some color, put it other places. You know, fun. Very cool. I am so digging this planet. All right, so once you get your planet the way that you want it, with all its pock marks and with all of its craters and things, which I'm happy with where I'm at, so I'm gonna stop. If you want to continue, please do. Remember, it's just layering, so just keep adding layers on layers. Okay, so it's just layers on layers on layers. And just gently use the brush. Don't Hulk smash it. Just gently tippy tap, okay? Now, once we're done, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our blow dryer and we're gonna blow dry this piece. You see how it's like ripply? Okay, it is going to be ripply. That means it's wet. We're going to blow dry this piece until it looks flatter, which means it's dried out. We're also going to touch it every once in a while so that it's dry to the touch. So I'm going to start with that. So I'm going to go ahead and pause my video. I'm going to dry this. You continue doing what you're doing and then go ahead and dry yours. It usually takes about 30 to 45 seconds, maybe even a minute. Once you're dry, you know, pause it, dry it, and then come back and we'll start working on the background. Excellent! I'm so excited about this. I hope you are too. All right, I'm dry and I'm back. So let's start talking about backgrounds, okay? I'm totes digging my planet. It's very, very cool. I'm very, very happy with how it looks and where it's going. I hope you're very happy with your planet too. And remember, you know, this is just probably your first time making a planet like this, so don't get frustrated and don't be upset. They make more paper, they make more watercolors. We can always do more, not a problem. It's practice. Painting is always practice. Nothing is ever concrete. Okay. Remember, happy accidents. Oh, before I forgot, you have metallic paints. I have shiny metallic paints too. Check these out, aren't they cool? Let's add some cool metallic shine to our planet before we do the background, because I just remembered you have these really cool pearlescents just like I do. So let's take our medium brush that we've been using, and let's look at this using this guy here or this guy here. Let's use this orangey guy. So we're just gonna dip, and then I'm gonna add some. And it's cool because when you get like these pearlescent ones wet, they like have this really cool swirl to them, and it's very satisfying. There we go. Very satisfying. All right, so what we're gonna do with this is we're just gonna take it and just kind of blop our planet with them. They're kind of see-through. I know they look kind of dark now, but they do, when they dry, they're gonna dry a little see-through, which is gonna give a really pretty like metallic shine to your planet when you tilt it to the side, which is really cool. By the way, if you look at some other paintings that I've sent, you can see it on them too. I've used these on them as well, because these are fun. All right, so you can, if you want, After that, get some water, get them clean, ring the bell, and then just kind of go over the edges. And then do-do-do. Just like that, do-do-do. It's kind of like, there we go. Let's go around the edges. Okay, so that's really pretty. Blow on it a little bit. Maybe get a little bit more. Want some more metallic sheen in some other places, like in here. Yeah, very cool. If you tilt your head down and look at it on the side, you can see that metallic. It's really neat. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go over these edges again. I like smooth edges. If you like that hard edge, keep it. This is all of, you don't have to do it like I do it. This is just how, I'm just showing you how I do it. And then please feel free to explore and, you know, do your own thing. All right, cool. Now, once again, we're gonna take the blow dryer. We're gonna do 15 circles. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, I said 15, but I did 16. Whatever. All right, so now that we got some pretty shine to it, okay, we have pretty shine to it. Now we're going to start looking at our darker colors here. That's where the flat brush comes into play. Okay, this is about a medium-sized flat brush. I have another flat brush that's a lot bigger. I have another flat brush that's bigger. I have one that's smaller. If you have one that's smaller, that's fine too. This is just happens to be the size that I have. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pick a dark color to work with first. I'm gonna pick with this gray first. Okay, so I'm just gonna dip it, and it could be even into the dirty water. It's not that big a deal. I'm going to go ahead and pull up this gray. Okay, so I'm gonna take this gray. I'm gonna kind of like rub my brush in it a little bit. All right, dab, 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 dab. All right, so I want to, it's called loading your brush. I want to load that bad boy, okay, because I have this whole white surface that I have to cover. So I'm gonna start with, it's just like coloring, just very gently come around that planet, come as close to the planet as you can, and then out here just kind of slop it around. So this is all we're doing, is we're filling in that white, okay? So get as close as the planet as you can, and then just kind of fill in the rest. As close to the planet as you can, and fill in the rest. If you need to pause to work on this, to give yourself some time, maybe I'm moving a little too fast, which I tend to do sometimes, please stop the video and work at your own pace and then come back, okay? So, because I'm just gonna be sitting here filling this in. So, all I'm gonna do, just slowly filling in my white space. So I'm just gonna fill in that white space with gray. That's all I'm doing. Okay, so go ahead and do the same with yours. If it starts to get a little too dry, or the brush gets, you know, the brush is just not moving smooth, just add a little bit of water, just like I did. So just a little bit of water. Here, maybe I should put it over here. So a little bit of water, and then add it to my gray. There you go. And then just right around the outside. There you go. Nice and slow. Perfect. You're doing a great job. You are. All right. All right. So I'm going to speed up the video a little bit, and you can watch me do it, or you can pause the video and do it yourself. But once you get all the gray filled in, come back to me. All right. And go. I'll see you in a little bit. All right. Welcome back. I hope you have it all grayed out like this. You see how it's done? Excellent. Hey. All right. So now we're going to take our blow dryer and we're going to dry it. So let's count to 30. Okay, here we go. So now, after we get this all nice and gray, let's go ahead, still using the same brush, we're gonna start using black. So let's go ahead, dip our brush in and get that black spot. Do 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 do. All right, so with the black, it's a little bit different. We're gonna start from the outside and we're gonna work our way in. So we start at the corners. All right, and just kind of like work our way in. Start at the corners. All right, we're gonna do that on the other side too. Start at the corners and work our way in, okay? Like this. Like that. Awesome. Just go real slow around your planet so we don't get the paint on there. Go real slow, circling around your planet. Good job. Real slow. Look at that. We're killing it. Killing it. All right. So now we have that. So we have our first layer of black. So we're gonna have to do a couple layers of black. Now, if you want, you can get a little creative with it and add a little blue into it. All right, because planets kind of give off a little bit of light. So if you want, you can take a little bit of blue here and you can kind of go around your planet with a little bit of blue and the black. But see, I got it a little bit too liquidy. So, I got it liquidy. Oh no, what do I do? Okay, so when you see the little puddles, oops, see the little puddle of water right here? That's when you take a paper towel or a rag and you just blop up the puddles. Now, you're like, but Aunt Summer, now I pulled up a bunch of paint and it's too light. You know what? That's okay. Because, what is it? It's layers, playa. So what we're gonna do is we're going to continuously do layers. If you did do something like that and it was a mistake, that's okay. We fix it with a blow dryer. So we're gonna blow. That's loud and I don't know what I was doing. So before we go and try to add more layers because it's really wet, we're gonna hit it up with the blow dryer for like another 30 seconds or so, and then we're gonna add the layers back again. So let me dry out my mistake and I'll be right back with you. And I'm back. Okay, so, ta-da, I'm back. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go back to doing what I was doing. So with not such a wet brush this time. So I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna grab that blue that I was talking about because that's what I wanna do, but it's something you don't have to do. And I'm just gonna kind of fill it in with a little bit of blue. Okay, just fill it in. Don't get my planet. Once again, like I said, kiddo, you're doing a great job. Doing a great job. I can't wait to see your planet. Tell me if you name your planet too, because that's really neat. I would be I'm really intrigued now. Okay, so I did blue because, I don't know, I just like doing blue in mine. So I'm gonna rinse out my brush again. I'm gonna go get some more black. try, if I got too much water on my brush, blot it out. Because I proved earlier, put way too much on there. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna grab some more of my black here. I'm gonna start at my corners and I'm gonna come in. Grab some more of my black, start at my corners, and I'm gonna come in like this. So take your time. Go around your planet. Okay, so you're gonna have to do a couple of these layers. Now, you do one of two things. You can either do a layer and then patiently wait for it to dry, or if you're like me, I don't patiently wait for anything. That's why we have a blow dryer. Ba-dow! So this is another layer. I'm gonna dry it with a blow dryer. So I felt it, it feels dry. All right, this would be my last layer. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add the black to, and then we're gonna start making stars. How fun is that? If you're not done, like I've been saying all along, pause the video, take your time, and then press play. Aunt Summer will be here no matter what. All right, so once again, I'm gonna start with the black on the outside, and I'm gonna work it towards the inside. So it's just a repeat. Once again, it's layers, player. Alrighty. All right. So I just take the black and I go on the inside. Excellent. Alrighty. Do you know Mars has 2 moons? Yeah, I was sitting here thinking about like space and different kind of space things. It's really cool. Yep, Mars has 2 moons. All right, I'm gonna say I'm done. And now with that being done, I'm gonna rinse out my brush. I'm gonna set that aside. Okay, now whenever you're done and you get it as dark as you like, blow on it a little bit. And then you get it as dark as you like, then that's when we're gonna add stars. And I know I've taught you how to add stars, but I'm gonna show you how to do it again. Okay, so I'm gonna take my white, dip it in my clear water because we want our white to be as white and shiny as possible. Let me show you right quick how dirty my water is. Look, that's my water. Look, it's like black. It's gross. And so like here's my nice clear water. So no dirty water, clear water for the white, okay? All right, last part. This is the very favorite fun part. All right, so we're gonna get the white to where it's kind of muddy. Remember I was telling you it's kind of like liquidy muddy. All right, so we're gonna pick some up on our little brush here. And now we're going to go ahead and just bloop, you know, just using the tip, just gently dropping stars wherever we want. You're like, but wait, Aunt Summer, that's not how we did stars last time. That's cool, because I'm gonna show you how to do it here in a minute. So we're just gonna take that white, and we're gonna make a big one. So right now we're just doing big stars, okay? We're gonna do my favorite in just a second. Okay, so those are all done. If you wanna leave it that way, go for it. But now is my favorite part we get to do. So our white is kind of like that muddy, but we need it more. So go into your clear water. Make sure you got a little drippings in there. Get this super, well, not like super wet, but get it liquidy. See how it's liquidy? You want it to look liquidy like that, okay? All right, so pick up as much as you can on your brush. Actually, kind of scrape your brush on the side a little bit there. But pick it up on your brush like that. Okay. Now, take one of your other brushes, but you want to grab it. Oops. So you want to kind of grab it with the brush part in your hand, because you just want to use the handle part. And you want to just tippy tap it, okay? Tippy tap. Okay. It's too wet, so I'm going to dry my brush off a little bit. See how the bubbles are big? We don't want them that big. I meant my brush was too wet. So I dried it off a little bit. We just kind of go around. And if some gets on the planet, that's okay. We're going to touch up the planet here in a little bit. So we're just going to dab it in our white. Go around. Dab it in our white. Go around. Okay, and I'm gonna add a little bit of water to my white because it dried out. Dry off my brush a little bit. All right, load up my brush one last time, and this is my final round around my planet. Awesome. Alrighty, so that looks so cool. Good job, high five. Okay, so let's go ahead and blow dry it with our blow dryer. Remember, keep our blow dryer above our, so we're gonna have to keep it a nice, I go like this, like make the shaka, and kind of like use that as my measurement to keep it above my paint. All right, so we'll go ahead and dry these out. So now you're like, Aunt Summer, there are speckles on my planet. Not to worry, little one. We rinse out our brush, okay? Now we're just gonna go and grab the colors that we used before and just kind of dot over the white spots. So just kind of like using the side of your brush with a little bit of that color of paint. Just kind of go over the sides a little bit, okay? See, it's like a magic eraser. It erases it. That's it. And then rinse our brush, grab our other color that we used, using the side, just kind of go around the edges a little bit. Find wherever we find a white little dot and just kind of, all you gotta do is blop on them. Bloop, 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 bloop. Bloop, 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 bloop. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Oop. Okay. Dip back in my blue that I used. Bloop, 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 bloop. Bloop, 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 bloop. Make some more polka dots maybe. Bloop, 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 bloop. All right, my planet is looking baller. Now I'm just gonna use some clear water, clean water, and then clean up some of any of the teeny tiny little dots that are left behind. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. That's just something I'm doing. So yeah, so if the blobs are bigger and they're in the color spots, go ahead and use the same color that you use to color that spot with. If they're really teeny tiny and they're kind of all over your planet, which they're gonna be, just kind of use some clean water and just polka dot bob at them. Okay? Excellent. So now let's give it one more blow dry. All right, just to make sure everything's clean, and then we're gonna do the most satisfying part, and that is peeling off the tape for the final reveal. All right, and blow dry. This time blow dry, count to 45. Go. Boom. All right, so the satisfying part, so just go ahead and now when we peel the tape, peel it off to the side. So you see how I have like a nice angle there? Don't peel it straight because you'll rip it. Peel it off to the side like this. Ooh, so satisfying. All right, let's do the other side. So satisfying. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Now pick it up and you can see like the shimmer. You see that shimmer that we made? What? We're killing this planet game. Look at this thing. Oh, so very cool. All right, kiddo. There we go. How cool is that? All right, kiddo, we did a heck of a job. We made some killer planets. I think this planet's even better than this one that I made practicing earlier. And I'm so excited that I was able to make it with you. And I want to see your pictures. And I'm, you know, if there's anything else you want to learn how to paint, please let me know. I think next time we're gonna paint a galaxy. What do you think? So take care, and remember, Aunt Summer loves you, and you did a great job. Love you. Bye.